I just wanted to say I'm so excited. We are starting a 12-week free webinar series, and I'm so excited to kick it off with Liz and talking all about cultivating community. If you guys don't know Liz, you need to follow her. You need to learn about the Fit Atlanta. We're going to dive deeper into that. But Liz comes from a really unique background where she's a former fitness competitor. She's an athlete. She's passionate about the health and wellness space, cultivating community, but she also has a full-time job working in global marketing and a branding strategist. So she comes from the whole fitness space from a very different perspective. So we are going to talk all about how to brand yourself and find a voice in the noisy world, and maybe how to use social media to build community, or maybe not use social media. So I want, Liz, first for you to jump in and tell us about what made you start the Fit Atlanta.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Kristen, for having me. I'm super excited to be your first guest of this series. So we'll start it off amazing. But so, hi, everybody. I'm Liz, and it's nice to meet you all. So I started the Fit Atlanta in 2014. And that was back when I was a fitness competitor. So I competed for 2 years as a bikini competitor in the bodybuilding space. So I was like not one of those huge gals, but I was still a tough competitor. But I started the Fit Atlanta on Instagram to connect that niche community I was a part of. So like all the competitors, the bodybuilders, gyms, trainers, people like that. And I just started shouting them out. I was like, and that's how it got started. So the reason I created it was to just start making connections, because I didn't realize until I started competing how many people who share our passion of fitness, no matter if it's bodybuilding or nutrition, or if you're just more of like a general health personal trainer. There are so many of us here, but there wasn't a one common place connecting us all.
Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite things that you told me, and you may not even remember this, back when we were having margaritas at Alice Teca, and you just said that whenever you go to different cities, you go to gyms, and you said when you walked into certain gyms, everybody was talking to one another, and there was such a sense of community. And you felt like at some of the places you were going, you'd walk in and you felt awkward, and everybody's on their phone and everybody's disconnected and not talking to one another. And so I remember that was one of the big things that Liz says to me is like, I want to build a place where there's community and people actually talking to each other and not just on their phone.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that you bring that up, I do remember that story, and I know the exact studio I was telling you about. It was out in LA. So so for work, I do corporate marketing for global, like Kristen said, but I go travel a lot. And so I try to go to different studios. And when I was in LA in about like 2015, 16 year, I think, I went to a cool yoga spot in West Hollywood, right off Melrose. And it was crazy. Like you would think in LA, it's like, oh, like people in LA, you know, they're not going to welcome, like you're from the South, you know, just like the perception. That's not how it was at all. I walked in and I was like, hey, I'm new here. I'm not from here. You can probably tell by my accent. Like, can I just come jump in and try a class? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I even connected with this girl who is a yoga teacher. She teaches at that studio, but we connected on Instagram. So I messaged her like, hey, you know, we follow the same type of people. We talk, you know, you talk with like other people on Instagram. They're like your IG friends. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, can I come do yoga with you and like meet you in person, IRL? And she said, yeah. So, I mean, she was super welcoming and nice. The studio staff and the owner actually lived in Atlanta for a while. So the studio is called Playlist Yoga in LA. And so if anyone ever gets the chance to try it, you could. But yeah, like everyone is friends there and like talking. And that's kind of the energy I wanted to bring here, because even since 2015, 2016, we've grown a lot as a city when it comes to fitness and wellness, and lots of new gyms, new places, just like STAT opening up. So we're getting there. And I feel like a lot has changed, but the thing I've thought about most is like when you are in a gym waiting lobby, like getting ready to go into the class for workout, like a lot of people are just like, that are like on their phone looking down or like too afraid to talk to you. And so that's something through Fit Atlanta. I want to help kind of shift that culture. And the more you come to Fit Atlanta events, the more you're going to see people going to the same studios as you or just bopping around the fitness scene. Mm-hmm. And you start getting to know people and saying, oh, hey, or like, oh, you're wearing a Fit Atlanta tank. Like, are you a part of it? Like, you know, it's just an icebreaker and it's a common place to bring people together. So yeah, great story, great memory.
Of course, it meant a lot to me. And I think one of the things that and I'm putting us in the category where we're used to working out, where we can walk in, we can make friends, we're extroverted. And I not remember, there's a lot of people that aren't like us, that are introverts, and it's very intimidating and it's scary to go into a gym. So I guess one of the questions I have for gym owners, me having Stat Wellness or as a participant walking in, like what are some things you can do on both ends to maybe break the ice? Obviously, joining Fit Atlanta is huge. Is there anything else? Do you think it's as simple as just smiling and saying hello?
Honestly, it is that simple. So I think it's really important. Okay, so first I'm going to talk the fitness enthusiast, the consumer walking into a studio. You're going in for a gym for the first time. You're in the lobby. And this happens to me too. Even as extroverted as I can be, and I can be pretty confident in an awkward situation, I can still get kind of nervous and I have to like really like turn it on. So like a couple of weeks ago, I was at a conference and I noticed a girl, she was kind of like a loner wallflower. And I kind of was too, like when I first got there. So I just went up to her and I was like, hey, I'm Liz. Like, where are you from? Or like, what do you do? Or whatever. So like, just doing that, like I think it's a mindset shift. Like if you can think, you know, everyone in this lobby waiting to go into class is probably just as nervous or awkward or feels weird not talking to anyone as I do. Like honestly, that's the truth. Mm-hmm. No matter how they look, how fit they look, how pretty they are, how tall they are, like whatever. So I think if you are by yourself and you see someone else who, if they're by themselves or with a girl and she's with a friend, just say like, oh, have you ever done this class before? Or, oh, this is my first time. Like, how is it? I'm thinking about getting a class pack. Like, you know, just little icebreaker questions to get them talking. Mm-hmm. And then even a compliment like, oh my gosh, I love those pants. Where are those from? Are those the latest Lulus? Or, you know, whatever. But just a way to get people talking, and you can never go wrong with flattery. So I think really that is the most straightforward, simple tip you can do. Go in there, own it, fake it, and say hello. And one thing I challenge at Fit Atlanta events, like whenever we have events, is don't leave unless you make a connection with somebody. So say hello to people, follow them on Instagram. If you're vibing with someone, like if they're into it, like go get coffee with them. So don't leave until you make a connection. Mm-hmm. Like you can channel that same attitude and that challenge by yourself when you go to new places, whether it's at a fitness class or a studio or at a networking event for work. So I think that's just like a good motto to have no matter where you go.
And I wanted to tell you that one of our nurses, or our only nurse, Erin, who's a trainer and nurse, we met at Fit Atlanta and built a connection. And now she works with us and she teaches. So, and I think she's here on the webinar. I don't know if you're going to comment in the box, but she was going to tune in. So you were building connections, which is exciting.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in building connections and connecting the dot. Dane Robinson, he was part of the talent hack event we had at he uses the term dot connector, and that's how he described me when we first met. And he's definitely like that too. And I feel like you are too. A lot of us leaders are. I think it's like people who are not used to leading that type of connection, like take it into your own and just say hello and say hi and compliment. So when it comes to the studios, to answer that side, I think it's really important for your front desk staff to be acutely aware of who is waiting to go into your class. So if you are, for example, if you're walking into a studio and there's a front desk, a lobby, and then you go through actual like a set of doors to get to the training room, like just the front desk staff, that's where the judgments will be made.
Yes.
They need to be out there talking to people, not behind, staring at the computer. If you have 5 people, 3 people, 1 person, or even 20, one person needs to be out there saying hello to, like, hey, have you ever been here before? Or hey, welcome back. Or I'm happy to see you. And if you've never been there before, oh, we're so glad you're here. Like, do you have any questions? Like, that is your customer experience, and that's part of their journey, and that will make a huge impact on if they come back or not. And even for me, like, I mean, even though it won't hurt my feelings if no one talks to me, but I definitely make judgments. Like, if I go in and the staff doesn't even acknowledge me, and also gym staff, not just gym, studio staff, you get to know your faces, your familiar faces who are coming into your, so like,
Yes.
Majority of the time, more than half the time, you should know if someone's new or not. And you should go out of your way to make them feel comfortable. And that is, I think, that's your first impression. So go out of your way to do that.
When I drive on Howell Mill on my way to work every morning, there's a big sign that they change quotes like every day and every week. And I love it. I want to go meet the owner of this car dealership. But his sign last week said, little things make big days. And it just made me think about everything you're saying, like that smile, just going out of your way, giving a compliment. You know, somebody may have had the worst day and they're going to get a workout in to feel better when they leave. And we as members or gym owners, we have an opportunity to really change people's lives in that moment.
Yes, really. And even so recently I've been doing some surveying of the Fit Atlanta audience just to get to know them better. I even heard, like, what makes you decide, like, if you're going to go to a studio or not? People actually, like, verbatim said they really pay attention to the staff and if they make their first experience welcoming or not. Like, literally, I'm not the only one who's saying that. Like, it's so important.
It is. And one of the things I wanted to talk about next, because I don't come from the marketing world at all, and maybe some of the people listening in don't. What is the difference, or is there one, between branding and marketing?
Ooh, that's a great one.
Is that a tough question? I don't know.
Okay. It's not okay. So marketing is a lot of things fall under marketing. Branding, I feel like, is such like an elusive word. Like, what does it even mean, branding? So marketing, I feel like, is the overall. So branding ties into marketing. But marketing is your overall strategy of, like, how do you collect leads? How do you use your social media? What are your email campaigns? Are you doing any advertising? What does your visual brand identity look like? So I would say marketing as a whole is like a function, and branding is a part of that puzzle. So branding, I would say, is more of like, it's not just your logo or the colors or your fonts. A lot of it actually has to do with, like, your personality and your values too. How you communicate, maybe, how you communicate, words you use, what you believe in, what you like to do. I don't think people think about that. That's like, oh, my brand, I have these colors, this logo, this font, and that's it. That's my brand. But, like, it's a lot deeper than that, and that's how you actually make the connections, is when you have the personality and human element to it.
And do you think it always has to be consistent, or does it always have to be like the same topics you're covering, the same voice? Because I guess one of the things that's hard as a business is, or as a personal brand, is you've got good days and bad days, and you've got ups and downs, and you have, and then now it's about this whole era of authenticity. So we're all trying to be authentic and true to who we are. And so we change and we evolve. And I guess that's kind of branding too. It just kind of grows with you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely think it's okay to evolve, because, like, from 3 years ago to 5 years ago, like, I know I'm not the same person, and I'm not thinking about the same things. Like, let's see, it's, wow. So 5-6 years ago, I was posting gym selfies in the mirror, flexing. I was posting my lat spread and my quad glute ham tie-in, like, but I'm not.
Another one of those photos and post it.
Oh my God, maybe I will on stories. But just as a throwback. But I think it's totally okay as you grow as a person in a business to change your narrative. And it's also okay to experiment too. So to see what your audience likes to see. So you might post like, I don't know, behind the scenes of how you're working on your business and some motivational quotes, and just to kind of test that to see if people are interested in that. And then depending on how it performs, you may learn like, they don't really like that. So I'll just keep posting what I'm doing. You have to test to figure out your audience.
Identify.
And you also have, exactly. And that's also part of brand development. And you should always be testing and developing, because times change, technology changes. Like even with Instagram, I could get on a whole tangent, so feel free to stop.
The algorithms changing.
What?
All the algorithms and everything changing all the time with Instagram.
Yeah, and like with Instagram stories, like we have stories now. We have IGTV. Like we did not have that 2 or 3 years ago. We have the stickers and the polls and the little the one where it's like you ask a question, pick the right answer, the quiz. There we go, the quiz. There's like, there are so many ways to engage with your audience. Not only engage, use those tools to identify what they want. So like yoga or HIIT. See which one they like more. Do you like a vodka soda or a champagne? I literally asked that question. I know that my audience prefers vodka sodas. Like, so if I have an event and we have cocktails, I personally like champagne, so I'm still going to have champagne. But if I can get like a vodka involved, like a healthy one, like Megan Armstrong, she told me about one. Yeah. I would totally reach out to them and say like, hey, do you want to come do some vodka sodas? Like, so that's how you can get, learn their interests and desires. So yeah, I think it's good to experiment. When it comes to being consistent, I definitely think you need to be consistent when it comes to being active. Mm-hmm. And I also think it's important, like if you can pick 4 buckets of content topics. So if it's you're telling your story, like your why, have stories in there, your testimonials, focusing. So for you, Kristen, it would be like talking about the medicine part of STAT and like what those different medicine things are and why they're beneficial and what they can do for you, and testimonials. Like that's a content bucket that it's okay to be consistent and talk about that a lot and be repetitive with your content buckets, because not everyone on Instagram, first of all, they're not on Instagram all the time. Mm-hmm. They're not reading all your emails all the time. And people need to hear, so this is a common marketing stat, but people need to hear things or see things at least 7 times before they convert or make a decision. So you have to be repetitive, because that's how it like subconsciously gets into people's heads, if that makes sense.
And do you think that can be across like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? So do you use like the same content on all platforms?
So sometimes Instagram is more like the main channel for Fit Atlanta. I am working more into, one of my goals is to be more involved on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So outside of Fit Atlanta, I think Twitter is a huge opportunity to tap into. It's a lot of like just quick casual conversations. It's a great way to, like, even if you're looking for marketing tips, like looking up some professionals, like they post their strategies all the time. So like posting, okay, so let's use you, Stat Wellness, as a potential case study. So Stat Wellness is on Twitter. You're posting a daily workout, or like, oh, try this glute workout and list 3 exercises, the reps and potential weights that you're doing, or a drop set or whatever. And post like your teachers and quotes from them, like just different content out there that people can just go through and see. And based on my current research, the Atlanta fitness is not that saturated on Twitter, even though there are a lot of Twitter users. Okay, so before I keep going on Twitter, I do think it's untapped and people should start getting on there and using it. And that's one of
for dinner the other night.
Goals. Yeah. I think it is good to switch up captions. Like, so Twitter, it's more fast moving. It's a little more casual. It's like quick, like what can I get from your tweet? Yes. But Instagram, it's a better place, like with a longer caption where you're telling a story and more visual. But like if you make an Instagram post and you just do that automatic like arrow that says share to Twitter, Twitter will not populate that content. It'll be a link. And it only shows people that you don't care enough about Twitter to post on there, or at least to schedule something that shows up. So I think when it comes to that, like it shows you care when you treat other platforms how they're meant to be used.
Yes.
But I mean, it's okay sometimes to share the same thing. So
yeah, I'm guilty of that with Instagram and Facebook. So do you think, is social media a tool to cultivate community? What are your thoughts on using social media to build community?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social is where everyone is hanging out, you know. A lot of my friends I've met on social too. So and it's a great way to stay in touch with people, connect with people. Or like, say if you're at a dinner party, which this is literally what happened to me. Like a few weeks ago, I was at a dinner party and I went there knowing my friend who hosted, but I didn't know anyone else there. And I made a few really good connections. So we followed each other on Instagram, and now we like and respond to their stories or like their posts or whatever. And like, those are subtle ways to make connections and get people to feel familiar with you. So then like maybe a deeper relationship can form. But yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like a DM is like a new like cover letter in a way, like even for jobs, like it's the way to get introduced with people, make good conversation, and then use stories too to like to survey your community so you can get insights while building community.
And one of the things I love about it too is you can even like record messages and send them to people. I've had random people like write like, hey, just want to check in. Hope you're having a really great day. Thinking about you, and send it. And it's just amazing. You open that up. You're like, wow, like somebody's thinking about me right now. And it is just a way to check in on people and build that connection. Yeah.
And it's just a quick way, like if you have an old picture, like with a friend, like just drop in their DMs and send them, or voice messages. And this conference that I went to a couple weekends ago when I stayed at your house, actually, Kristen, one in Atlanta, I met, oh my God, so many amazing women who are in a very similar space as I am. And as we were at the conference, we were like, let's make an Instagram group chat. And so it was like 7 of us, I think. And so we were like, okay, let's add us. Tomorrow, we're all going to sit at different tables so we can make new friends with people at the other tables, and then add them to the chat. So now we have this gorgeous chat of like so many super engaged women that like literally one of them who I made like a really good connection with, yesterday was her birthday. I called her this morning and I was like, hey, I hope you had a great birthday. Like, how's it going? And like, we just had a quick little chat, but like we did have a good connection where I felt comfortable to do that. But still, like, those are things too. If you're at events or at things, like, just start talking to people.
Is there a way, I guess social media is a tool, because one of the things I know is when you get so busy, days, weeks, months go by, and you have to like remind yourself to follow up with people and check in. And I know that's how 2019 was for me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months and I haven't talked to my best friends. Yeah. So do you have any like tips or tricks to stay connected? Do you use social media for that?
So one tool I like to use, it's a project management tool called Asana. You may have heard of it. So there's Asana. I use that a lot for like to plan out my year business goals, to plan out content, to put in ideas. And it's very agile. So you can make like boards and columns like, okay, here's my to-do list. Here's in progress. Here's done. Here's the result. So you can like do that. But that's another way too of like, okay, or with sales calls. And so you can apply this to relationships too. Like, okay, I sent them an email. This was the result or status. This, based on the result, I will follow up with them in 3 months or 6 months. Yep. And you can do like keep track of it like that, but you have to be active to go in and manage that. So it still takes time, but that's an amazing tool is Asana.
I love Asana. We use Trello because it's free.
Trello.
I love Trello too.
Asana, girl.
Yeah. You don't? You do the free sauna?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, no.
It does. Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to know, because you come from being a figure competitor and, you know, being on a really strict diet and workout routine, how do you now find balance in working full time? And by the way, her Fit Atlanta is her passion project that she does on the side, even outside of her full-time job. So how do you have a full-time job, a passion project, and then still fit in fitness and health for you?
It is a lot, to be fully transparent. So yeah, I travel. It takes me about 30 to 45, sometimes over an hour to get to work, depending on how 400 is acting during the day. I work and then I do all of my work. Sometimes I'm up to like 12 and 1 a.m. I work weekends. I just do it because I'm driven, and Fit Atlanta is my baby. It's my business, and I want to grow it. And right now I'm dedicating a lot of time to it to get it to where it can kind of work on its own. And then as I make revenue from it, I can then outsource to kind of offload my time spent. But when it comes to working out and fitness, after I stopped competing, I kind of had a year-long break because I was just forming unhealthy habits. So I completely like cut myself off from everything. And that was a good reset. But now, I eat relatively healthy. I probably don't eat as much as I should, which has always been my problem. But I use HelloFresh. So I have HelloFresh deliveries that are generally pretty healthy. They have healthy options. They do have their gourmet splurge options too. But so I do that and cook healthy dinner. It's nice and portion controlled too. I like to go to Fast Twitch in Buckhead sometimes after work because it's not too far from my job. And I have some classes on an account there. So I like to do that. And I like to just bop around and try different studios in my area. So right now I'm living in Alpharetta. So I have a few places on my list to try here. So I don't have anything strict at the moment. And I think it's because I used to be so strict. So I kind of like I do just as I feel and as I please. So I'm not really the person to give like a routine tip kind of insight, but that's like what I personally do at the moment.
Well, and one of the things I think is so important, and I've been in the same boat recently, but is you've got to kind of change your workout routine based on the season of your life. So if you're in this phase where you're like really hustling, working full time and doing your business on the side, if you were going and hitting high intensity interval training workouts on a daily basis, you would just burn out your adrenals and just not be able to thrive. You'd be surviving.
Yeah.
Or I say like when you go to bed, you're surviving or thriving. So I always like encourage people to change their routine based on the season of their life. And so I think right now, like HelloFresh, it's working for you. It's something that's delivered. It's easy to use. You've got healthy food available. Yeah, I think that's awesome. And then I think for you, of course, trying new places and building connections is always going to be huge.
Yeah. And of course, like with my line of work with Fit Atlanta, I do get invited to fitness classes and gyms invite me to try. So, like, for example, Sunday I was invited to, which this is hilarious. I was invited to a couples yoga class Sunday night, but I had to ride solo that evening. So I literally my partner was one of the women who is their director of community there. So that was really funny. A lot of like,
where did they do couples yoga?
What?
Where did they do couples yoga?
It was at Core 57. It's at the Alpharetta City Center. So it was like a fun little, so they used their Sundays as recovery days workout. So they had a couples yoga class and I was invited to come check it out. And I was like, well, it's just me today. So, sorry. So
it was macro yoga, like balancing on each other and going upside down.
That I opted out. It But it was a lot of fun. Actually, my shoulders are really sore because we did a lot of planks there too.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate to where I get to do fun things like that. So it helps me, kind of forces me to work out because it's like business too.
Do you have like a morning or night routine that you do every single day, the same thing?
Nothing in particular, but let me see. So I wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, do my hair. I'm so low maintenance. Like I don't wash my hair much during the week. I'll wash it. I'll either wear it curly or straight. And I just do quick curls with my curling iron. Like I just do a little wrap like that and let it fall. That typically will last a couple days. Then I put it back in a sleek bun and a ponytail and then wash it when it's like time. Yeah, but I do. I love to use a face mask like a few times a week right before I get into the shower. So I'll just leave it on and then rinse it off once I'm in the shower.
Anyone you really like?
Yeah, so there's this brand. I'll type it. Okay. It's Hungarian. It's a more of, yeah, I think I spelled that right. I don't know. It's a little high end of a skincare line. Oh, I see Dane popping in here. That's who you are, Dot Connector. Oh, hey, Dane. I love you so much. I'm always love you. Yeah, Amora Visca is my skincare line of choice. I've been using it since when I was at SCAD for my post-grad program. So that's been about 7 or 8 years. But I mean, I went through, here we go. We'll tie this into my fitness story.
Yeah.
When I quit with my fitness competition, so mind you, I was eating 6 times a day, tilapia, brown rice, sweet potato, like God forbid if I use ketchup, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, anyways, when I stopped that and I went back to eating normal, my skin broke out like crazy because I was so detoxed from everything.
Yes.
And so pure, which is great in theory, but it's not realistic. And my body was like, what is happening? So I didn't break out into like zits, like with the whiteheads. It was more of like hives. It was like a reaction.
Yeah.
And it was all here, all around my jaw. It hurt. Like it was painful. So there's a mask from Amora Visca. It's the I believe it's called the deep cleansing mask or mud mask. It's a mud mask. But anyways, I put that on one night and the next day my skin was so much less inflamed. So ever since that, I am a big fan of that line. So one thing I do every single night is I do a double cleanse when I take my makeup off. So I use their thermal cleansing balm, and it's like a balmy, oily.
Yep.
Substance. Yep. And I rub it all over my skin, my eye, everything, and then I get a warm washcloth and I just wipe it off. And then and sometimes that's enough. But if I want to use something like to treat acne or a brightening, I have melasma, so sometimes I'll use a brightening system. But yeah, I mean, I use that every single night. It's a great way to keep your skin moisturized while removing all the crud. So
you just switched me over to oil cleansing too. It's amazing. So how do you, with all this stuff going on, is there certain things that you do to promote personal growth? Do you go to conferences? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you read books? Like, how do you structure that into your routine?
Yeah. So I am always learning. Like, I love to study and learn new things. And I do go to conferences. So, as you know, but everyone else does not know, I stayed at Kristen's house a few weeks, or not even a few, like 2 weeks ago, because I was at a conference in East Atlanta. And it was for female entrepreneurs, business owners to kind of like think about our strategies and programs we want to do, how to actually, like, we were actively workshopping through our projects. So that was really intensive. I like to do those occasionally. I'm doing another one in April. It's actually in Orlando, which will be like a retreat. So that one will be a little deeper and more intimate, not as many people. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I love, and on Twitter, I'm mentioning the marketing people on Twitter, y'all. I'm not even kidding. Like, they share these people who are strategists at top agencies share their insights, their case studies, their stats, their strategies, like all of it on Twitter.
I need to get on Twitter.
I'll send you the people I follow. One guy, I'll put his Twitter handle in here. I follow him on Instagram too now. But he doesn't post the same content on Instagram, so you got to get him on
Twitter.
Yeah. His name is Jack, but it's so crazy. I don't know him, but I feel like I know him. But he posts thoughts, like, it's incredible. So I look at a lot of industry leaders in marketing for that. I do a lot of webinars. So one system I use is for work managing social is Sprout Social, which is a well-known tool. Even if you go to their website and their blog, of course they have webinars you can find, but even their blog posts are super insightful. Like, a lot of good tips.
Sprout Social?
Sprout Social, yeah.
I'll write this down too.
Okay. Yeah, good insight into the industry, tips, trends, even getting specific on like video strategies for Facebook, social. Like, so I'm constantly learning like that. Yeah, my podcasts are more fun. I like murder podcasts, like
true crime.
Yeah,
I got stuck in traffic one time forever.
What?
Yeah. I was saying I got stuck in traffic one time, and I was asking people, like, what podcast do you recommend that I listen to? And everybody was telling me true crime. They were like, you have to listen to true crime.
My favorite murder are these two women who host it, and they're absolutely hilarious. Hey, Charlie. And, thanks for joining us. Yeah, they're hilarious, but they also promote being safe outside, like women's safety and self-defense and stuff like that. And they have a saying that's stay sexy and don't get murdered. So SSDGM. Yeah, everybody. So
I'm gonna one day listen to it.
What?
I'm gonna one day listen to it because I've heard such good things.
If you're ever stuck in traffic, their episodes are like an hour long, so you'll be good.
And you're good to go. So another thing is, I feel like in this world, it is incredibly noisy. It's one thing that we talk about all the time. And in your bio, I love that you describe yourself as really just staying in your own lane, which I think is really important because we really try to compare ourselves to others. We're very competitive in nature. And I think a lot of that competition can hinder our own success. So I love that you say, like, staying in your own lane, really keeping your eye on the prize. But what are some ways that you kind of find your brand or maybe find your voice in the noise, or how do you keep yourself kind of staying in your own lane? What are some tools that you use?
Yeah. So I don't have any tools that I use more than I just try to like mindset shift with myself. I, as a lot of people, am very bad at comparing myself even to people who literally don't do what I do. But I see that they have a lot of followers, or they're doing a lot of events, or they're doing all these things that I want to do, even though it's not the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But like, screw it, they're doing better than me. Like, it literally gives me like pain, like pangs, you know. But I just sometimes like I mute them, or will just like unfollow people that they did nothing wrong. It's all me. It's not them. But like, just so I don't compare myself, because the worst feeling in the world is getting on someone's Instagram feed and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling while like hating yourself, basically. So, and that's not productive. But and also I feel like there's this thing called the curse of knowledge, where you're very intelligent. Like, we all have something we're very smart with. Like, Kristen, obviously you're very smart with medicine, fitness, and even running a business. I have my strengths. We all have our strengths. So, but I feel like with me, so marketing, I know so much about it, always learning and growing, not saying I know everything, you know what I mean? But I know a lot. So I feel like naturally you'll know what I know, but not everyone knows what you know. not everyone knows like gut health like Kristen does, or no one can explain it like Kristen does. Like, you have your own special sauce, and I feel like we just have to remind ourselves of that. So that's what I just tell that to myself, and I remind myself, like, literally, I think curse of knowledge. Like, I'm holding my own self back because I feel like someone already knows this. Like, they know this, they don't need me to tell them. Like, I they're so obvious, but they're actually not to a lot of people.
So do you limit your time on social media? Do you like limit the time you spend on Instagram?
No, but naturally it's limited because of just how my life setup is. So with my full-time job, like, I don't have time during the day to just get on there and scroll and sit. So, I mean, I get on there occasionally, like, absolutely. And like, if I need a break in between projects or I'm about to go like brain dead, I'll get on there and scroll. But I think that's helpful. And then when I get home, I work, and I plan a lot of my social too, like feed content with using a tool called Planoly.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not like sitting there like trying to figure out what to post. I try to do that ahead of time.
Yeah, that's huge. I love Planoly.
But lately, I mean, don't mean to mention Twitter again, but I've been a lot. I'm so sorry.
I feel like you're like bringing Twitter back. I really didn't know until I had dinner with you that Twitter was a thing still besides Donald Trump.
So underrated, I swear. But I'll lay in bed like scrolling on Twitter, stalking all these freaking juice box CA Jack. It's crazy.
I'm excited.
What?
I'm excited to check him out. I'm gonna literally get on Twitter and look at him.
He's brilliant. He's so brilliant. But yeah, I mean, I just have to remind myself that not everyone is me, even though people are doing the same things you are. Like, Kristen's not the only one that owns a studio. You're not the only doctor of nursing. You're not the only one that can give a B12 shot, but you're Kristen, you know? Like, you say things differently, communicate differently. Your personality is so fun. Like, I mean, in your experience is different. And so we have to remind ourselves of that. And when it comes to social too, like, when I'm posting, or even if I'm on a panel or speaking, like, I will speak how I speak, which is not like, oh my gosh, now, I mean, I can't even fake it. Like, I'm not just like some, like, stick in the mud, corporate, blah. Like, I like to have fun. I speak very casual. I say the word bougie. Like, the events at the Fit Atlanta are going to be bougie. They're going to be fun. It's going to be lit. Like, that's how I'm going to talk. And people will either like that or not. And if they don't, they're not my people. So they can go for someone else. You know, so I think it's important to actually like own who you are and be funny and be weird, say your favorite phrases, like whatever, just be you. And that's what makes you special and different from the competition.
And I think a lot of times when you spend so much time looking at the competition, that it hinders your innovation and creativity.
Yes. Ugh, say it again. Yes.
Yeah.
That is
I feel like that's huge.
in your head, and you cannot create if you are stalking other people.
Everybody's going to love you, but you've got to really be clear with who you are and what I'm huge on like knowing your own personal mission statement, because I think it's interesting that we have mission statements for companies and corporate. And so just even as you think of branding yourself, like understanding your mission statement and how are you going to portray yourself, and is everything going to fit in line? So my husband and I'm always like, we need to have our own couple mission statement and our core values as a family. And he kind of rolls his eyes a bit at it, but he's in the kitchen. But
Can't do it.
Yeah, it's so important because like you got to hold yourself accountable for who you are and not let the world change you.
You have to be true to your why, because I think if you do that, you won't let your competition stop you. And another thing about competition is it's okay to have competition, because I mean, that's just one, that's the nature of business. Two, it'll keep you on your toes and keep a fire lit under you. And I don't know. I mean, it's just motivating, and you all like are serving the same. You have the same mission, kind of bottom line. Yeah. Like Stat, along with other people who are similar to Stat, your goal is to serve people, and so that ultimate mission is to help people with their health and their fitness and to make them better. So, and that's okay too. Like, I don't know. I think you just have to do you.
I always look at like, man, if I can be at an intersection and there's 4 gas stations like right here, all still in business, and we live in East Atlanta. So when I go to the Caroline Street, they have like a Target and a Kroger. They literally have 2 Starbucks in the same parking lot. And both those Starbucks are still in business. Yeah, they're like inside of Target and Kroger, but they're appealing. Like the people that are shopping at Target are going to get Starbucks there. Yeah. And so I always think about that too. It's like there's so much competition, even in the same parking lot of these 2 different gas stations, and they both do well. It's like who's turning out right, who's turning out left, and it's a convenience factor. But it always blows my mind.
Yeah. No, I mean, there are plenty of people out there.
Yeah, there is. And there's room for all of us. Just in Atlanta, what is there? 6 million people in the city of Atlanta?
Yeah.
So that's what I always try to remind myself.
It's not stopping down, or it's not slowing down anytime soon.
So has your Instagram gotten rid of the likes? Can you still see likes, or has it gotten rid of it?
Okay, that's interesting. So on the Fit Atlanta Instagram, I cannot see likes. But on my personal, like Liz Ashley ATL Instagram, I can see likes.
Yes.
So I don't know what that.
I want to see if this little poll thing works. I want to see if you guys can see this. Okay, I'm putting a little poll up. I want to see if people are going to answer this. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
So can you all see likes still on your Instagram is the question.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So now I'm curious, for those of you who say yes, have you updated your app? I'm wondering, do you have to update your app and be like, not wait for the auto update for it to happen? You'll see it on Liz Ashley.
Well, I think it's so funny because everybody around me all still sees likes, but I have a wellness account and I have Kristen Oja, and I can't see likes on either of them. So I'm like, yeah, but I know some people are upset about it because you can't tell people's engagement. Like if you're looking at influencers from a business perspective, like, are they like true followers? Is their engagement high and all that stuff? But my thing is, I think that we just put so much, like I talk to people that look at what time of day, and these are not business accounts, these are like personal accounts, but what time of day to publish a photo, or, when are their viewers on Instagram to get the most likes so that it's highlighted up at the top, if a certain number of likes right away. And it really is sad to me that we're now in a culture all based on if somebody's going to like you on social media or not. Like we were talking about earlier, I love social media for the community and the connection and the collaborating. But I just think it can be really hard for people that they post photos and people don't like their photo, or they just feel like they're failing and they don't know why they're not growing on these social media platforms. So I was just curious of how many people can still see them versus not. It seems like I am the only one that can't see it on either of my accounts, which I'm happy about. So
that means you're the more advanced user. Since you actually
yes.
So let's just say that.
Is there any last tips? Because we're going to talk about the Fit Atlanta membership that's launching in March 1st, but do you have any last tips for the people listening on either building community or building a brand or kind of quieting the noise? Any like parting words in that side?
Well, going off to what you just said about the likes, whether you can see them or not, is just a vanity metric. Likes aren't dollars in your pocket.
That's true.
There are people who have 1,000 followers, 2,000, like small, even less than 1,000, who are making 6 figures a year off their business. Yeah. So that's not the end all be all. And for people who don't like not being able to see likes, Instagram isn't the only place who can give you those metrics when it comes to looking for people to work with. There are plenty of tools online that actually can provide influencer data for you for free. Mm-hmm. So I can't remember right off the top of my head what the one I'm thinking of is called. It used to be called Inc. 365, I think, but it's not that anymore. But anyways, if you look up tools for it, they're out there. So you don't need to see likes to find an influencer.
Yeah.
And The thing that's actually meaning more is actually like how many people are saving your post, sharing it to their friends, and through insights on the back end, you can see that and engagement and impressions. So those are metrics. But I think as long as you are, interacting with people, being very true to yourself and being who you are, what you're posting, and like on your social or on your stories, that's going to be a win. Also being repetitive with what you're saying, so you're on people's front of mind. Stories, tweets, feeds, they go by quick. So being repetitive if you want people to actually see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And just block out the noise, talk like who you are, like what I've said. Like it's I would say those are
going back to the in-person thing, compliment somebody tomorrow, even like if you guys are listening to this, like find someone new to meet and compliment them and build a connection, because that smile, hello goes a long way.
Yes. And just remember in your head, it's all this is mindset. Like when you're in person, if you're on social, it's all mindset. Like you are worthy of posting what you're knowledgeable about on social, and people need to hear it, and they need to hear it from you, how you say it. Like, because you are special. And people who are in the studio, go say hi to them because they're nervous like you are, and they are probably hoping someone says hi to them and they'll be nice to them and you can make their day or feel like they made a new friend. So I think if you're able to switch the narrative in your head, it can really make a difference in your life personally and with your business.
I love it. I love it. And then tell us, I put on the app Fit Atlanta so people can find you on there, but tell us about the new Fit Atlanta membership that you've been working on that is launching on March 1st.
Yeah. So the Fit Atlanta is, we actually launched a membership last year, but we're relaunching it this year with a lot, some updates and improvements. So we're launching a community membership in the first week of March. And right now you can actually get on the wait list to be the first to sign up and get a discount. But what members will get are perks and discounts to studios around the city, Snap Wellness being one of them. So right now you can get the B12 shots, discounts on B12 shots, and group fitness classes. Fast Twitch, Spray Studio, which is a spray tanning place off Roswell Road, Mountain High Outfitters, Heal Thyself Atlanta, where they do like good not colonoscopies, the colon therapy.
Yeah.
What's the word for it?
Colonics.
There you go. And foot detoxes, massages, all that good stuff. So you get access to deals that you wouldn't normally get through the membership. You also will be entered into a membership home portal. So that's a members only access where you can find your perks. You can also find resources. So Dane Robinson, mentioned him again earlier in the webinar, but he is a trainer with the Daily Burn 365. He's giving everyone kind of like a free trial and also a free class to take with him when he's teaching at Black and Row House. So those are 2 free fitness classes right there. So those are some of the resources. Access to all the Fit Atlanta events for free. If there are any specialty events like a half-day retreat or a pop-up, a discount on RSVPs, and a private Slack channel, so where you can actually like interact with the rest of the community. So Kristen, I'll be sending your login soon, so you can like start participating in that. But it's
I'm so excited.
It's almost done. Actually, I had an IT guy like kind of help setting it up, but. So a community where you can interact with them directly. It's a great opportunity to network, try new studios, make friends, get discounts, and just to be a part of the community at a very deep level. So that is the Fit Atlanta membership, and it's launching very soon. So you can actually get on the wait list. So there's a wait list right now. And if you get on the wait list, we're sending you some emails kind of detailing more exactly what you'll get in the membership. But we're also sending you a discount. So you can and join.
Can you post the link in the chat box?
Yes.
If you want to check it out and join the wait list. How many Fit Atlanta events are you planning to do in 2020? Have you, like, is it one a month or every other month?
A month, yeah. And right now I'm talking with the Alpharetta City Center and also a hotel in Midtown to a rooftop by the pool to actually have like a sweat series. So a spring sweat series, a summer sweat series at these two different places where it's like every other weekend. We're going to have a workout with time to network after, some drinks, light bites, shopping, workshop. Yeah, so
you let us know if you need some trainers. I know some at Stout Wellness too. They would want to come.
Okay, I'll reach out.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kristen, plug for our event with the expanded event.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard of Kundalini? I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but there is not very many Kundalini studios. And I've actually had a lot of patients ask for Kundalini. So we're doing a brain health kind of talk, some brain fueling food, Kundalini. And Liz, me, and Kayla, who's actually going to be on the webinar next week and talking about, or next Tuesday, talking about biohacking. All three of us are putting it on. So I wish I had the link ready, but next time.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
And you'll see us talk about it.
Yes, exactly. But that is coming up. And yeah, so follow along with Fit Atlanta too, because we have a lot of fun events coming up as well. So yeah, hope to see you guys in the club.
Well, thank you so much. Carly says thank you too.
Hey, Charlie. Thank you so much.
It is crazy. Well, thank you so much, Liz, for joining us for the first one of 12. And thanks for sharing the link and about Fit Atlanta and branding and strategy and community, social media.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to slide in my DMs. My Instagram is Liz Ashley ATL. So you can DM me at any time. Does anyone have questions they want to ask while we're still on? Any questions?
Feel free to
ask us questions.
Cameron, any questions? He's over here cooking up a storm for me for dinner. So
ooh, what's he cooking? That's a question.
He told me I have some appetizers that he's going to make, some shrimp appetizers, some vegetable that he got from, what's the cookbook? What's the cookbook?
Andrew Weil.
Oh, Andrew Weil. He put back out for some healing foods and he's making some veggie tacos for me. And he's been working hard the last hour.
That's exciting. How can you work?
I know. I feel very spoiled.
No question. So we must have done a good job then.
Yeah, we answered all of them.
We did.
And I will see you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you guys send us any questions you have, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Great job.